Hello YouTube, Damo_23 here, and welcome back to another episode on the YouTube channel. In today's video, we have got a big one. We have got the Community Shield as we look to exact some sort of revenge on Manchester City after our FA Cup final defeat at Wembley at the end of last season. The main reason it is a big episode though is we have made some monstrous amount of sales and we have quite a lot of money in the football club. But without further ado, give it a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let's go through the players that are currently here and the players that we have sold. First thing I'm going to get your attention to is in the top right-hand corner. We have a whopping $355 million in the football club as it stands right now, and $252 million in the transfer budget. I have not really signed anyone of massive amount of note in terms of world-class talent this season just of yet, so there is a lot of money in the war chest if we do decide to go big with the sales. And I will say, or with the purchases, and I will say, I'm not open to spending it. Just, I haven't found the right player yet, and we don't really need too much, I don't think, to win the league. Maybe a bit more luck. And we really could even do a treble or a quad this year, to be quite honest. With that being said, let's go and have a look at the season preview. This has put me in 6th and 7th for the last numerous years. Yet again behind Bournemouth, which is funny. But if we have a look here, the team is meant to be lining up in a very similar player. Maybe one person that you guys don't remember, but has been part of the Wrexham squad for quite a few seasons now, makes that starting 11. I will be speaking about him in a little bit more in depth in just a second. On top of that as well, if we go into the team screen, this will be the starting 11 for today, but I need to pick the appropriate bench, which I've forgotten to do. If you have a look at the team, we've made one little change to the tactic, and this has come about because I want to get this guy into the system and because we missed out on signing one other person. So, with that being said, we've made the change of moving from a centre mid on attack to get Dedes as a roaming playmaker. Now, why would you do that, Damien? Mainly because I think when he's got that much physical, you want a role that works the physical. I want to see him get on the ball, dribble, run at people with that pace from the middle of the park, and roaming playmaker does that. He also has great mentals to play roaming playmaker, and he's got great dribbling for it. His biggest downfall is he's not a great passer of the football. Yes, he's got good vision and technique, but he doesn't pass well. And the roaming playmaker is meant to be able to shoot from distance, and Dedes does not. So I'm hoping with the good old player roles, we can actually stop him doing that and start getting him to dribble more, shoot less often, and move into the channels. So really trying to get him a bit more into the vertical channel, roam from the position to pick the ball up, and run with the ball. Outside of that, the rest of the system stays the same, and the rest of the team stays pretty much the same. But let's go and work on the ins and the outs, and then we'll get into this game against Manchester City. So the first out came in last season. Have a look, 314 mil out last season, 170 mil out this season, and well, the last person that we sold should have gone into this year's is not Mariba. Where is Nesri Rakunda? I said I was going to sell him, put him on the transfer list, got 67 mil from West Ham. As much as I like in real life, Nesri, you cost us an FA Cup final because you're soft. Send him off to West Ham. I think it's just good money anyway. He would have been third or fourth choice. Winger, maybe even less. So to get good money for him is massive. Now, if we go into this year, though, have a look at the sales in the year. 170 million has already gone, plus Nesri 67 million. We have made a lot of money in transfers, and we haven't really bought anyone of yet. We have a look at the team, though. I think most importantly, Ross Davies got a loan. Already up to 2.5 star. He's gone to Wolves, who are in the Premier League. So he's got a Premier League loan at 18 years of age. Already homegrown because he's come through the club in its academy. Instead of keeping him here and getting him off the bench, maybe as 4th, 5th choice winger, getting him a Premier League loan where he's an important player for Wolves is massive because he could come back and be ready for Premier League football and really feature nearly in the first team for us. Arthur, we kept here as a 4th choice sort of player. We've decided to sell here. We got 23 million, which is not too bad. And if you have a look through his stats here, we bought him for 11, and I'm pretty happy with that for Arthur to go on the wayside. Marco Palengi was out on loan for a couple of times and had some decent loans, 10 goals in the Portuguese league. Couple seasons ago, went to the championship. Never really hit his potential, unfortunately, but we made good profit on him. At the end of the day, we bought him for a measly fee there of 9 mil. We sold him for 26, so it's good profit. And the big one is Brian Sanchez. Now, look, this guy still plays for Argentina, and I don't know how. This guy I bought for 14.5 mil, and I thought he was going to be fantastic. Never really got going. A loan to Mönchengladbach, good loan to be fair to him at Benfica, and Villarreal turned on that and said, we're going to give you 50 mil and off we go. For a guy that's 2.5 star to get 50 mil is fantastic. I will say Villarreal have a lot of money. I rejected 100 mil from one of the players I'm about to speak about from them, and I've also rejected 130 mil for Dominguez in goals. So Villarreal must have a lot of funds in the game. And yeah, lucky last one though, and this all ties into the player I wanted to sign, who I did not sign, and ties into Dedes being in the roaming playmaker role, and that's James McAtee. Manchester City guy. I had an offer in for a player that I'm about to speak about. Looked likely we're going to get him. Didn't happen because he went somewhere else. But at the same time, I decided, well, if he's going to come in, McAtee has to come out because McAtee's not going to play enough and he's got good value. So we transfer listed him. In the end, we accepted 45 mil from Arsenal, and then City decided, no, we're going to bid 50 to 60. And well, we got 70 mil up front, plus 15 mil with clauses that should happen, him playing 10 games for Man City, stuff like that. James McAtee has made the U-turn all the way back to City. We get 85 million once that's all said and done, and that is way too much money for James McAtee, a guy that realistically in the last couple of seasons played 8 games starting 7 off the bench, 22 and 10, was never nailed apart from his first 2 years at the football club. And to be fair, he played pretty well, but to pick a guy up, for 27 and sell him for 70 is also amazing profit. Now, you might be thinking, Damien, who's the player that we looked at? Who was it? It was a trial, and we couldn't believe. But unfortunately, he did not decide to come to me. It was Kai Havertz at 33 years of age. So the story of Kai Havertz is he was at Arsenal legend, played 26 starts, 5 off the bench, and over a 7, been dominating. I used him in the Day Does England challenge, which we will relaunch once this Wrexham, save is done. But yeah, world-class central midfielder on attack, on a free. He wanted 450 to 500k a week, managed to talk him down to 350 with a massive amount of 4 mil if he makes team of the year, 5 mil if he gets top goal scorer, all that sort of stuff. Unfortunately for us, we finished second to Real Madrid. Real Madrid was not interested. No one was interested. I sold McAtee. I put McAtee on the transfer list to fund this for wage. And unfortunately for us, Real Madrid came in and offered 475 as an impact sub instead of being a world-class player for me and an important player. And he's decided to take the money and sit on the bench for Real Madrid, which, fair enough, which is unfortunate. But that means that we can play Dedes in the roaming playmaker, and we've got a good enough team to, have a look at. Now, in terms of players that have come in for us, the first one has been out on loan and people forget who he is, and that's Jamie Homazabal. The Chilean's only got 1 goal in 19, but has something like 10 or 12 assists in 19 games for Chile, and he's had a couple of decent little loans since we brought him in. We brought him in for 3 years, he played okay for us, loaned him out to West Ham where he was but last year for Braga in the Portuguese League, went ballistic at a 7.44 for Braga in their title challenge, and comes back as a leading Premier League winger. So straight away, Homazabal can play left and right, allows me to loan out Ross Davies, and he's like a brand new signing, where Junior and Ben Dyack at times were not good enough. This guy, with his physicality and being able to beat a man, I think will be very, very good in this system. And we've seen it before with us in his earlier years when he started for us. This guy knows how to find the back of the net as well. So this is like a brand new signing, and he's on a free, which is fantastic. And then the 2 other signings are massive as well. If we go to all transfers, Antonio Ramsey keeps coming up my list as being a well-rounded wonder kid. Never was going to be good enough, but got angry at his parent club, and we picked him up for 5 mil. He's in the under 21s. The main reason we picked him up, he's already got 5 stats 15 plus, and he could develop into someone that becomes very usable. He could play out on the left. He could also play out on the right if we trained him, and he could also play out left back because he's got 10 tackling and 8 marking, which could develop into, being a decently bombing on fullback. But the other one, boys, is massive, and that is Rodrigo Lozano. Now, Rodrigo Lozano was wanted by Man City, 9 mil bid accepted for Man City, and I looked at him and said, I can't let him go to Man City because it would make Man City too strong. So I bid 9 mil. Man City only wanted him as a breakthrough prospect. I said I'd play off the bench. And for me, in this new system, as an inverted wing-back, he looks sensational. Has got great physicality, he's got great mentals, got good first touch, can pass the ball with 13 passing, 12 vision and good technique. For me, someone that could slot in and even learn to play defensive midfield, and something I might do when he starts developing a little bit more, and make him that inverted wingback that can play in the middle of the park, But also, if we need to flip the system, inverted on the other side, he can play wing back on attack. He has the potential to be as good or if not better than Dan Robinson and already been capped for Argentina. So I think for 9 mil, this guy is fantastic and is going to be really, really good. Now, let's recap pre-season. We smacked Ludogorets, Sturm Lusk, Celtic, and we did beat Monaco in a very tight game. Important to note here, though, we did get some goals, etc., which were fantastic. And I think, there's some goals from Dedez that looks fantastic in the match engine. I'm trying to think where they are. And it's definitely my player to watch is Dedez. There is some goals which he sets up. There's one here for Junior. We'll go over these 2 games in Sturm Graz, where the Roman playmaker seems to play that defense-splitting ball that little bit more. As you can see here, going out the other side, Dedez picks the ball up in this little channel. And straight away, it's just a first-time ball that picks the lock for the inverted wing, for the inside forward on attack, which is superb. And that's the sort of move we're looking for. And then Dedez scoring a goal here as well, which is also not bad. On the break, numbers committing. Good run through from Dedez from the middle of the park, getting forward. And that's what we want to see. Still Dedez getting through the middle of the park on Roman playmaker and still looking to get in the box and still looking to score goals as well. Now, I've got 15 minutes before I mean to be in a team's meeting, so we're going to try and play this game here quickly. If I do have to cut away here quickly, do not fear. It's only because I've got to go and do a team's meeting. It is a community shield, and that is that. Lastly, we were meant to get our new stadium built and meant to be, this is our first season in the new stadium. It's been delayed by 12 months, but we should be A-okay with everything, and it shouldn't have any issues. Now, on the bench here, I haven't really figured out my best bench, something I normally do, but I have been a little bit busy this morning, so we're just going to go with that. Hamazabal needs to come to the bench too. I'm going to drop Ben Strongwe. And there we go as well. And I've still got people here. Lozano's an international. Joe Victor had a very good loan last season. Definitely worth keeping around the football club. Might get some minutes with some injuries. Ben Trongo is going to loan out. Try to sell Williams. Hasn't really happened yet. And Offa Sivan I'm going to keep around as well. We had a loan to buy from Barcelona, which kind of tells me this guy's decent. And I think as a box-to-box midfielder in those bigger games, could be someone that we could use off the bench to help see out the games as well. So with that being said, we've got a pretty strong team there, which is Dominguez, Robertson, Cunnington, Parsons, Walter. We've got Desiree Du, Dedez, Ben Doak, Consigli, and Josh Herman. Let's get straight into the game. Apologies for my teams going off here. I'm actually trying to film this whilst being logged in at work. I've kind of got most of my work done already for my morning, so I'm ready for my team meeting. So I thought with the extra little 15, 20 minutes I have, get through the episode as well. Now let's go and have a look at this Man City size, the exact same, or if McAtee's deciding to play. I have gone fairly full strength. Telling you right now, if Jordan Shaw is available, he's now been capped for Wales. Wales actually made the quarterfinal of the Euros. England made the semi-final and lost to Portugal. But yeah, Wales, Mr. Josh Herman up front, who hasn't scored goals for me, scored 5 goals in 4 games, missed the game because of injury as well, and won player of the tournament, our Josh Herman. Now, Man City look pretty strong. They actually look stronger than what they were when they played me in the FA Cup final last year, which is a shame. And that's because Bam is starting and Botman's out at left back, which is better than him playing in the centre of midfield. But let's get into it. Hopefully, it's an easy and a quick game here as well. And away we go. 25 minutes played. It is 0-0. And hopefully, we continue on here and play well. Time is ticking. And to be fair, this system, we should actually be trialling out the big game system. Apologies, guys. I forgot about that too. We actually started in the actual system. Okay, 0-0 here. Happy with the performance. I'm actually going to move into the big game system here. Nothing else really needs to change. Just we get Walter playing inverted and a box-to-box midfielder for Dedez, which maybe on a booking we get him off. And I bring in George Davies who can play box-to-box. So big game system now. And this system is built on us being a little bit more defensively solid, being harder to break down and staying in the game a little bit more, and then being able to see what we can do from there. And Robinson wins the ball, but once we have the ball, we should still be able to play football here. Desiree Du, Koulibaly, finds George Davies, good ball out of Walter. Consigli, Walter's inside of him, Consigli looks to beat him. Good ball inside of Walter. Cuts it to Davies. Ball to Robinson, hits first time. The big game system scores. The 2 inverted wingbacks link up, and bang, maybe it's the way of the future. Maybe it's the way of this year's game, is that the inverted wingbacks are just the most OP thing. We don't see Robinson score many, but he's usually very wide in the system. But good build-up, a ball inside here from Davies, and in the end, Robinson hits one from distance, and the big game system puts us 1-0 ahead, and something to think about maybe moving forward. Ball into a channel here for Koulibaly. Doesn't pick it up. Haaland defending, which is, it's a set piece. That's fair enough. Bamba now. Botman. Bamba. Foden. Well done by Koulibaly. Cunnington. Goes out the other side here. Finds Parsons. Consigli still out there. Ball inside. No, maybe not. Consigli. Good ball to Josh Herman. Finds Davies. Good ball to Desiree Due. Robinson again. Josh Herman. Might have been offside. It was offside. Good move, but no goal, unfortunately. 60 minutes played. Consigli looks tired. So does a few of the boys out here, which is fair enough. Definitely fair enough to have a few of the boys a little bit tired here. We're going to bring Hamazabo on one side, Junior on the other. And Robinson is tired, so we're going to bring Lorenzi in, who can play inverted wing back, I think, is fine. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to bring in Oliveira, get Walter to the other side, and Oliveira on this side, which kind of suits them, I think. And that is all okay as well. We're going to leave one change up the sleeve. The big game system's done what we needed to do, and yeah. Alright, guys, I'm going to be right back in a second. Do not go anywhere. Boys, you come back in at 1-1 here. We just conceded to a goalkeeper mistake, which is unfortunate. And we just scored the winner. Yes, go. Maybe the winner. George Davies scores. I do have a meeting in 6 minutes, but one of my bosses wanted to give me a ring about a different issue going on in the system. But yeah, good little bit of work down this left-hand side. Junior with a ball inside. And in the end, Oliveira inverted wing back inside the George Davies. And George Davies bends one into the top bin, which is fantastic. This is how we conceded to Erling Haaland. The backstick cross, which was flicked on to Rodrigo. And then Dominguez came for it, was never going to get there. And Haaland headed into an open net, which would have been annoying. But it looks like we could get some revenge here, which is nice. And there's only 5 minutes here at a time, which is perfect as well. And there we go, boys. That's 5 minutes at a time. We are Community Shield winners again. It's the only trophy whilst being in the top flight that we seem to be able to win. I'm very happy with everyone's done. We've focused squarely on it. It's perfect. Nice. And I'm very happy with that. All right, guys, that's going to be the end of the episode. Let me know who you think my favourite player, who your favourite player is going to be that we brought in, or is it going to be Jamie Hamazabo? Let me know if you think we should sign someone with the big amounts of money that we're going to have here. The thing that I am planning on doing is if Dedes does start really slowly as the roaming playmaker and, the first few games, including Liverpool, don't go to plan, I will spend 100, 150 million on a central midfielder on attack or a big box-to-box midfielder and get him into the system. Do we move to the inverted wing-back systems as well? Looks like that Robinson and Walter played pretty well in them. And maybe, just maybe, we move to 2 inverted wing-backs in this system as well. It could be an option. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much and goodbye.